Welcome to 2024 garden. This update is very far along. We've already been picking some tomatoes, and these tomatoes went in, man, I think it was at the very end of March. We put them in, maybe it was early April, I don't remember now. And the last frost date came and went. And so we put in the rest of these after the last frost date. And 2 weeks after last frost date, we got a frost. 2 of them. And so these tomatoes are survivors. It took a lot of work to keep these things alive. A lot of help. The kids really had to be troopers to keep this thing going. But we did it. They did it. So anyways, we got, there's 3 rows there. We put our wide walking path. And then we went 2 rows. Wide walking path. And there's my all-weather seat right there. And then 2 more rows. This row right here are Hossinator tomatoes. And we grew these last year and really liked them. These are the only ones that we have ever grown before. Everything else is a new type. And without Jared here, I can't tell you which one is which. Well, I can give you 2 more. I have no idea what these are. They're either saucy ladies, quite the name, right? Maybe some Shelby's, something like that. They're supposed to be a paste tomato, but I really can't tell you for sure. These ones over here, again, are either saucy lady or Shelby, but I don't know. I can't tell you what these are. These are pretty little numbers. They're called Turkey Creek. And I heard about these from a very wonderful YouTuber called Lazy Dog Farms out of South Georgia. And he grows these. And I thought, well, him and I are in a very similar humid climate. Perhaps I should give these a go. And they're just really pretty. They're coming in great. And they're looking huge. I mean, my hand compared to that tomato, this thing is a giant. These are heirlooms as well, so I'll be able to save seeds. I'm not necessarily particular on that one way or another, but it is, apparently it's a very good southern tomato, which is hard to get with an heirloom, and it's a good tasting tomato, at least so I've been told. I'll actually be able to let you know. But down here, you can see there's not much walking room, especially for me. But these things are as high as my eyebrows right now. These are 6.5 foot T-post pound to the ground, and that's how tall they are. They're indeterminates. Most of my stuff is determinants, but they're setting some mighty fine tomatoes, and as you can see, continuing to set quite a bit of flowers. Speaking of flowers, we have had a few more, we've had problems with pollination. We've had more drop fruit this year, and that's because we lost both of our beehives to some type of mite problem. And so that's been a little bit frustrating. It's always sad when you lose bees. Here's another variety. Like I said, they're all brand new. These are called Purple Boys. And they're very pretty tomatoes. Those are ripe right there. What you're looking at is the final product. I've went ahead and picked one. I've already had one on a hamburger. They're fantastic. They're quite amazing, actually. I'm not a tomato guy, even though I grow a bunch. That's because we do a lot of canning. I'm not a person that just grabs tomatoes and eats them. This variety, I would do that. And that's saying a lot. That's like saying I'd prefer hot sauce over ketchup. It just doesn't happen. I went with Purple Boys this year because I've always enjoyed growing Cherokee purple. Well, maybe I'm just not a very good tomato farmer. I don't know. But down here, the humidity and the heat will just take out a tomato. And if it's just not bred for the heat, it ain't gonna handle it. And my roots started in Michigan, and I'm sweating like a pig right now. So I'm kind of in favor of the cooler climates myself, but this is what I got. So I can understand these poor tomatoes and their inability to thrive in the heat. But moving on now, as you can see, we're in the green pepper territory. We've already taken off probably 10 peppers. And these are Hossinator. I appreciate the Hoss Tool website. They have, they're down in Georgia as well. And so I figure whatever they put out, we're in the same type of climate, I'm gonna give it a shot. And that has proven to be one of the best things I've done for my garden. I used to buy my majority of my seeds from a Michigan supplier, and they're great seeds, but we're just in a different type of gardening situation. So, it's just the way it works. This pepper right here is up to my waist, and we've already picked from it, and they just really do quite well. This pepper, he's a victim of a stupid idea. My fault. Oh well. It happens sometimes, and can't go back in time. It's not the end of the world. I have to say that on camera. Again, they're huge. This is one of those Purple Boy tomatoes compared to that pepper. That pepper is softball size, if not more. Coming down here, this is our second planting of sweet corn. It's not quite ready. We're probably about another 2 weeks to 17 days out for this variety. We'll move on over there and you'll see some that we're eating now. And the stuff we're eating now is called a variety called Honey Select. And I don't know if I'll ever grow anything else. It is potentially the best sweet corn I've ever tasted. And that's giving credit to those that have gone on before me. Miss Opal and Brother Jerry. But this sweet corn the Honey Select is the bomb. And here I got some Honey Select, I got some Ambrosia. And I don't remember what this is called over right here, these last 5-6 rows. I think it's called Serendipity, or it's either Serendipity or a type called Nirvana. I'd have to look at the package. I don't remember. We got green beans right here. They're coming in fairly decent. We got record amount of severe weather, record amount of rain. early spring. And all these plants have gone through hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds. They've gone through like 5 inches of rain in 2 hours. This garden has been a struggle. A lot of people in this area didn't get their garden in early, and some of them have only gotten their garden in within the past 2 weeks since the beginning of June. So they're going to be dealing with high heat and probably, usually anyway for this area, a low amount of water through June and July. So we'll see. But these variety here is called Jade, and they're just now starting to set. I tried to plant a second little thing over there. I tried 2 different ways as an experiment. I'm always trying something different, and this way's better. As you can see, this way wins, that way don't. But we're trying a third way, and that is bringing in composted manure and building a raised bed. And right here is the very beginnings. That right there is beginning to sprout. This will be our third planting of green beans. I have room here for a fourth, but what I'll probably do is when these ones go out, put that under and plant right on top. These variety, if I didn't mention already, are called Jade, and I got them from Hoss Tools. But he didn't necessarily suggest these, but they do seem to be a stringless, kind of a French variety of green bean. Never tried them before. Hopefully they turn out good, because I'm kind of picky with green beans. Here's something we never ever grown before, but I figured if I'm going to be gardening in the heat and in the south, I'm going to give it a go. Okra. Never grown it. Don't know what to expect. I haven't tried it in over 20 years. When I tried it, I didn't like it, but I didn't used to like squash. Now I do. So I'm trying it again. This variety is called jambalaya okra, which doesn't seem like a very original name, but I wasn't in charge of naming it. It's a pretty plant. We'll see how it goes. It's been a slow starter, which I hear is kind of the notorious for okra. My cucumbers, hey, well, some child is going to be out here saying, "Can I pick it?" Here we go. That's the first cucumber of the season right there. You've seen it here first, folks. Hossinator. That guy really likes that name. Hossinator, I think those are the pickling. It's pickling or slicing. That's the types we got. One side is Hossinator pickling, the other side is Hossinator slicing. Oh, there's another one hanging right there. Typically, I prefer a slicing cucumber, but we're going to try both. And that's a runt. They were planted at the exact same time, but that one's being stubborn. This is a 4-foot fence, and they're just reaching the top. We have sunflowers on both ends. And now we're headed to my favorite part, and that's my watermelon patch. We got some zinnias on that side, and right there, that is not a watermelon. I had a child of mine, Mav, who said he grew a watermelon. And can he plant it in the garden? Well, of course you can. After it was in the garden for a couple weeks, he said, "Whoops, it's a pumpkin." So it's like the ugly duckling out here. But it's one special pumpkin plant, that's for sure. He walks in there without stamping on everything and tries to get the squash bugs off of it. He takes care of that little pumpkin plant. Who knows what it'll do? So we got very different varieties of watermelon, and this year for watermelon was tough. Going back to the weather, oh my word. We had to replant a few. Watermelons and frost don't do good. But we have probably, I think we have 72 watermelon plants in here, upwards to 90. Without Jared out here corrected me, it's hard to tell. He remembers all this stuff like I used to. 30 years ago maybe. Anyway, we had to replant a few. I think we probably had to replant 10 tops. Last year we didn't have to replant any. But we saved the watermelon from the frost. And that's typically a very hard thing to do. And it would have been. If I'd have been by myself, I would not have a watermelon patch. But I'm not alone in this. So we have quite the watermelon patch. We all worked very hard. From the 13-year-old down to the 2-year-old or 3-year-old. Like I said, my memory, I think she's 3. I probably shouldn't be saying these things out loud. But it's 50 foot long, and it's right at 30 feet wide. It's a little bit, not quite as many watermelons in here because they really they're much more finicky if pollination, and if these bees don't get at these flowers at the right time, they'll just abort those fruits really quickly. So we've found more of that this year than we ever did last year. And this problem right here, that'll turn into an edible watermelon. Instead of bending over, let's use this wonderful zoom from the Pixel 7. That's going to be a weird shaped watermelon. And that's from improper pollination. That's not a complete pollination. That'll be weird. But oh well. We have plenty in here. We're trying to use this paper plate to protect this thing. Robins come in here and do more damage than anything. So trying to cover up that one that they decided that they wanted to eat. But and then we got bumblebees right there. Bumblebees. There's been more bumblebees in here than honeybees. I really enjoy watching them do their thing. These are probably a week out to 10 days on some of these larger ones. And then we got the zinnias on this side. Try to attract some of the pollinators this direction. I suppose it works. I really don't know. But I'll keep doing it. And then we're going to spin around. Ooh. Didn't you like that? Again, this corn, this is Honey Select. And this thing went through 2 frosts. We tried covering it, but trying to cover a 60 to 70 foot row is pretty difficult to do. So I gave up because we were doing more harm than good trying to cover this stuff. And I thought, well, if the frost gets it, then I guess I won't. And the frost kind of burned a few of the leaves, but it was young enough, I reckon, that it didn't kill the whole plant. And now we're getting some of the best corn we've ever eaten off of it. I didn't think it was going to do anything. It was terrible. Just terrible. And we put in some sunflowers over here. I forgot to tell them to space them apart, and so they're planted way too close, but it's all right. we have a third planting of sweet corn down through here. I won't walk back there, but that away, about 150 feet, is our fourth planting of sweet corn. And then when this is done in about another week, this will be put under, and this will be turned into our fifth planting of sweet corn, if I counted correctly. And hey, that's the garden. Just wanted to give you that little update. More than an update, it's an introduction as well. We're here. And we'll see how it goes. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.